everybody, and welcome to Casagrandes Chat, a podcast dedicated to Nickelodeon's The Casagrandes and the Loud House universe. And I'm your host, Sunny. And welcome to episode 49 of Casagrandes Chats. And I just realized I looked at the number 49. That means the next episode in my show is going to be the 50th, so I don't know what I'm going to do for that, but it is exciting. My 49th episode of the show. But today on this episode, I'm not actually alone in talking about, we're going to be talking about the brand new episodes of The Loud House and The Casagrandes that aired at the end of March. So we got new episodes at the end of March, of course, and we're going to be talking about them here. And I'm not alone in talking about these episodes. I have a very special first-time guest on Casagrandes Chats today. You may know this person over on Twitter. He does some amazing art in the fandom, of course, that I've known him for a very long time. He's been on another podcast, but of course, he's my first-time guest on my show. It is the RealGilbertGan, or Bert. Welcome to my show, Bert.
Thanks, I'm doing good, except for this whole corona.
Yeah, well, we are all still experiencing the second part of COVID, but I think we're all doing pretty good. Yeah, it's been now it's been a year since COVID happened. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for us here.
Yeah, but I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, we are.
Good to hear. So Bert, obviously there are people who know who you are, but some people might not know who you are. So I'd like you to give a little introduction about yourself to our audience. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Right. For those of you who may not know me, my name is RealGilbertGan, and I've been an artist since 2016. And I've been a fan of The Loud House since circa 2018-2019 after watching the first episode of the 4th season premiere of The Loud House, introducing the Casagrande arc featuring Ronnie and Santiago.
Oh.
If you want to know who got me into the interest of art, I can tell you. It all started when I got my influence with Ashley Michelle Simpson, a Canadian artist who you may know had worked for Disney, specifically for Phineas and Ferb. And that since then, her influence got me into art. Although I may not tell it because it's been a few years since I have no contacts with her since. But those who actually comforted me, who got me into The Loud House, is Christina Pichelli herself. Because I've been a fan of Luan Loud for a while. And excuse me. I've been a fan of The Loud House because of Luan Loud, and that's all you want to know about me. If you want to... So that's it. To this day, I've been into the fan of The Loud House to this day.
That's awesome. I mean, you said your first introduction to the show was through the Casagrande arc?
Yeah.
How did that feel if your first experience with the show was actually with now they have their own show, but what was that feeling of experiencing watching the show where it's like, who are these characters? I thought The Loud House was about this boy with 10 sisters. Why am I watching, a Hispanic girl and her, Mexican-American family, taking over the show? What was that experience like seeing the show from a different perspective?
I'll be honest, at first I wasn't really interested in The Loud House because my first point of view is that I wasn't really interested with it because of the LGBT content that it has. Until when I learned what The Loud House and seeing Sam Sharp before the Casagrande arc, that really got me into it. Because one, I was actually interested with Alison Stoner, who voices Sam. Two, I actually got influenced with The Loud House with Sid Chang. And three, that went all the way with The Loud House because I also relate to Lynn Loud's early life during middle school.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, a lot of the guests I've had on the show are big fans of Lynn. I see why she's a very appealing and popular character. And of course, Sid. I mean, Sid is one of the best characters on the Casagrandes, naturally.
Many fans love the floof.
They do. They do love the floof, and and obviously you're a big fan of Luan, and we're gonna be talking about a Luan episode on the show, so you're
Of
probably
course we do.
excited. Yes, yeah. Of course, you've been on Loud Casa Talks a bunch before, so you're gonna be talking about these episodes again. So hope you hope
Two
it,
episodes that don't get
hope
disconnected at home.
I was gonna say, I hope I don't like make you feel like you're repeating yourself, or it's like, oh, I gotta talk about these episodes again.
I never pissed myself.
And also, yeah, I felt bad for you being disconnected on some of the episodes, because yeah, that was kind of bad. But you know, I enjoyed you being on
Yeah,
that podcast, of course. I'm gonna be on
yeah,
it.
thanks.
I'm gonna be on it actually on Sunday. We're gonna be talking about
Yeah,
continuity in the
I did,
show.
I did saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, so the thing was, the guys, they know me, they told me that they're doing an episode of continuity, and I told them on Discord, I'm like, you're doing an episode of continuity without me. The continuity was that person. Are you serious, guys? You did not think to invite me, the person who studied the continuity on the show forever, to be on an episode about continuity. And then Nate was like, oh, I was gonna invite you, but I didn't know if you were available. I'm like, I will drop everything to be on this episode.
Yeah, I even left a Q&A. I also left a Q&A on their tweet. And specifically, that would be a question for Omid because I'm sure he's gonna be peeved with the continuity of the show.
Oh
I'm
man,
gonna be
when
sure
me and
about that.
Omid are gonna be on the same episode, butting heads about continuity, it's gonna be a fun show. Just,
I'm sure. I'm sure Omid is gonna be peeved in that episode soon.
oh yeah, I love his reactions to every episode. Every time it's Omid's turn, it's like there, it's great. It's great. I hope he's hearing this. If they don't mean you're listening to this, you guys do great on your show, of course.
yeah, Nate-
We're all buddies on podcasts.
yeah, Nate, I.
Yeah, so let's get back to my show, of course. But so um to get back to my show, of course. So as I said at the top of the show, there were 4 brand new episodes of The Loud House and the Casagrandes that aired in March, and of course we're going to be getting
The
right
part.
to yeah, and of course we'll be getting right to them because as of this week, there is no news for both shows, as we are on hiatus for the entire month of April, sadly. There were new episodes that aired in the UK, the Lynn and Lola episodes, but I won't talk about them here because they were leaked, not official release to the US, obviously, so we won't talk about them here. Just the official episodes that aired in the US from the week in March, not those leaked ones, of course, not until
Not
they
to
air
mention,
here. Yeah, no, go
not to
ahead.
mention, not to mention, just a month away, the Loud House turns 5 people. Loud House
Exactly.
5.
Yeah,
What a
yeah.
great milestone.
It's going to be very exciting once the show turns 5. I think
It's
that's
gonna be the
probably
loudest milestone.
yeah, it's a big milestone. And that week, the Casagrande the first graphic novel for the Casagrandes comes out that week too. So we're gonna be celebrating the 5th anniversary for sure. I'm hoping maybe I might do something special for the 5th anniversary for my 50th episode of the show. Let's just do that.
I'd be doing some commemorative stickers as well.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's just jump into the episodes then, shall we?
Alright, let's do it.
All right, so we're going to talk about the Loud House first, of course, and we're going to be talking about an episode with one of your favorite characters, of course, Luan Loud, as we jump right into what was now the quadruple or the saga of the April Fool's saga now, as we have 4 episodes of April Fool's now, of course. So let's talk about the first episode, which is Silence of the
Or should
Lambs.
I call Prank Mania, guys?
Prank
I should have called
Mania?
this Prank Mania.
I like that. Prank Mania. I like that.
That sounds like WrestleMania, but yeah, Prank
Let's
Mania.
let that
for
catch
me.
on. Yes. So Silence of the Lambs. With Luan locked in the cell in the basement, who is responsible for the April Fool's Day pranks this year? So Bert, I want to ask you a quick question. Since Luan is your favorite, of course.
Yeah.
How'd you
Go ahead.
feel? How'd you feel about? How'd you feel about getting the next April Fool's episode?
I was actually hyped. Because the last time we saw Luan doing some April Fools, or should I call this Prank Mania, was on Fool Me Twice. And since then, she did stop pranking. Why? Because in that last scene of the episode, they his, his parents and her parents and siblings pretended that they're going to move to Florida after what she did to them. So I say that in the end it was actually karma, but no. Luan deserved what she got. She already swore that she didn't want to do any more April Fool's prank ever again.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, like, I remember with that episode, I thought Luann would, because she promised to stop pranking, but in reality, she didn't really stop pranking, because there would be episodes where, like, she'd do a prank in the background, like, I remember in the episode with Lynn Senior and Lola, in the beginning, Luann had to, like, go to the store to buy more bananas because she did a prank on Lincoln, so technically she didn't stop pranking, she just promised not to do it on April Fool's Day. That's why we got the return of the April Fool's episodes.
She would really stop on Prank Mania, which is April 1st.
Yeah, but of course now we know she's not going to stop pranking. But another question I want to ask you about the episode before I ask you your overall thoughts. So, Luann wasn't the prankster of this episode, of course. It was a certain other Loud that most of us weren't expecting to be the actual prankster. So, Bert, yeah, no,
so we knew it. I didn't knew it was coming because it turns out it was actually the youngest sibling in the house, Lily Loud, the toddler, who turned out to be the perpetrator of all this prank mania itself. I didn't even know how she was able to turn the entire house to a lethal comedy death trap alone, single-handedly, even Vanzilla in the process. And I don't even know why.
So I was gonna ask you, what'd you think of the twist of Lily being the prankster? What'd you think of that?
Again, like I said last time in the Loud Casa talks with Nate and Omid, when I showed her in the camera, she's the mastermind. Lily's freaking evil.
Yeah,
she's freaking evil.
Yeah, I want to say I like the twist, but I also dislike the twist. That's the thing. Like, I'm on edge about it because, like, I don't want to believe that the reason that Lily did all of this was because she wanted Luann to start pranking again, and I don't like the implication of that because, like, Lily, you're hurting, like, Luann and Lily, you're both hurting your family. You're torturing them on the worst day of the year. And you want Luann to keep doing this? You want her to keep torturing your family? Like, really?
I know.
I mean, okay, I guess.
Even to the point that Lynn Sr. couldn't even speak very well.
Like, your father is, like going mentally crazy. And you wanted this to keep going? Like, seriously, Lily? Like, what the heck?
Intelligibly. Let's hear ended up speaking unintelligibly.
Yeah, I mean, Lily is, like, from what we've seen of Lily, like, her Spotlight episode at Any Given Sunday, she is pretty smart. Don't underestimate that baby, I swear. She is very smart.
Yeah, you don't underestimate a little toddler like Lily, who's very smart and creative.
Yeah, but I'm like you. I don't know how she came up with all this elaborate plan, got Vanzilla to start, used a remote to start Vanzilla. Like, there's so many things that I question that I feel like I still think my headcanon is that Luann was actually playing along and she knew that Lily was doing this the whole time. I believe Luann put her up to this. I don't believe it was a fake out, you know? I believe Luann trained her.
Well, for me, I've been seeing some scenes that were Lily's schemes, such as Come Sail Away and Any Given Sunday, where she tried to plan some schemes in trying to control her family. Like, wow. How is Lily, in her age, be able to come up with some plan to control her own siblings in Any Given Sunday? That's just weird.
Yeah, I agree. But, like, I feel like with the ending, I feel like something was missing with the whole Lily liking pranks thing. Like, I guess she's a toddler now. Like, as a baby, she probably would find it. Yeah, like,
she's like 2 years old.
Right, yeah. So, like, as a baby, I would feel like as a baby she'd find it entertaining, but as a toddler, like a 2-year-old, I don't think so, but like I kind of wish we could have got like an episode or something like in the episode where like the episode where Lincoln tries to change Lily to be like himself, changing the baby. I wish there could have been a scene where like Luan was training Lily to pull off pranks, and then that's what influenced Lily to keep going. Was Luan kind of influenced her or trained her? Because like in the end, Luan is a terrible influence. I believe like even like Lynn Senior, because like Lynn Senior was like we raised two of them.
Yeah, he was really creeped out. And maybe in my opinion about Lily, maybe she got it from all of her siblings because she's been living a life with 10 siblings in the house, right?
Yeah.
She got every influence through every single one of them, even Lincoln.
That's true. That's true. I would generally like to see if like Lily is actually like into everything that her siblings are, just because like she loves pranks from Luan, so maybe she likes fashion from Lenny or sports from Lynn or something.
Yeah, that's like apart from Lily's interest in finger painting. That's what my opinion would be.
Yeah, yeah. But I wanted to ask your overall thoughts on the episode. What do you think of the episode overall?
I would say overall the episode was very entertaining for me as a Loud Casa fan, but also props to Christina Pacelli, who I did have a little question in my mind alone. How was she able to do a deep raspy voice, which really creeped me out one time when I first saw it.
Where's my juice? Oh, sorry, I'm still waiting for that juice.
To get me out of here!
Sorry, I'm still waiting for that juice. Oh, that was so good. That was great. I loved that. Her deep voice was amazing.
Yeah. Props to Christina.
I think my favorite scene in the episode is like you see my profile picture on Discord. The scene where Lincoln finds out that's Lily, and he's like, like he says like, wait, Lily's the prankster, and he like looks to the camera, and I'm like, same.
A literal blank stare.
I'm like, that's exactly how I felt. I was like, what, Lily, really? Like I loved Lincoln this episode. Like he's my boy, and I love that he broke the fourth wall again to introduce like the whole April Fool's thing with Luan.
Schooled.
Yeah.
If I remember.
Yeah, they remember, and also season 5. They remember that Lincoln breaks the fourth wall, so it's cool they actually. Okay.
It's like paying homages to the first season episodes.
Yeah, season 5 is all about that, so it's cool that they like have Lincoln break the fourth wall sometimes, and again, I really enjoyed this episode. And Luan, of course, but yeah, I think it was a really fun episode. I think it's probably my second favorite of the April Fool's episodes, next to Fool's Paradise. Yeah. I still like Fool's Paradise because of the homage to like horror films in that episode, and Luan's plan is actually genius, like compared to the other stuff. Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna say some about Fool's Paradise.
Yeah.
I think some scenes there went too far about how to control Luan during prank mania, such as pouring bleach all over Lucy. It's just harsh. Even Lana with her rhubarb allergy.
Yeah, like Lana with her allergy.
She get critically ill. That's just harsh.
Yeah, I mean that was. And Lynn Senior going behind their backs, but can you blame him? He's traumatized. I would understand completely from Lynn Senior.
Yeah, every prank, the hair shave, the whole mustard tsunami, I should call that in the silence in one scene. I should have called it mustard tsunami.
I mean, the episode would be better if you just had an ending scene with Ronnie and like in the first April Fool's episode. One day!
April Fool's rules. One day, Ronita. One day,
One day you'll come back for the April Fool's end of the saga, or if it keeps going in season 6. We don't know. But let's see. Is there any final thoughts on Silence of the Lambs before we go on to the next episode?
Oh no, but my favorite scene there is when Luan actually had this cute face squish with Lily. It's like this really shows how much of a close bonding between these two siblings, the 15-year-old and the toddler.
Yeah, because
I really love that scene, to be honest. This just showed that you have a great sibling bonding together.
Yeah, because I remember,
Overall.
like, back in season 1, Luan was actually Lily's translator. Like, I remember, like, in Homespun,
Yeah,
when Lily tried to talk,
yeah,
Luan
that was
actually
home.
knew what she said, you know?
It's like apart from Lisa and Lincoln, who can actually translate Lily's babbling earlier on.
Yeah, yeah, so, like, they've had close bonds since then. I just felt like the Lily being the prankster thing was kind of out of left field. Like, some people have told me they understand why, but I'm also like, I don't really get it. I mean, I
Yeah,
understand, but I don't think it's a good twist. Like, I was saying, like, Fool's Paradise, you understand why Lynn Sr. went behind the family's back because he doesn't want to get pranked anymore. He's traumatized. You get
the
why,
backstabber.
yeah, you get why he's a backstabber. I mean, it's bad, but you get why. With Lily, there's more just, oh, you liked me doing pranking? That's not really much of a good. I still wish Luann and Lily were actually working together instead of Lily just loving the pranks to get Luann out of the funk. Like, there could be more to that.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Alright, yeah, so let's move on to the next Loud House episode that premiered, which is the Undercover Mom. Mom goes undercover as a student at the high school and becomes BFFs with Lenny, Luann, and Luna. So before we talk about the episode, we should talk about something very important that happened in the episode. Well, Luna said that Sam's her girlfriend! Woo!
Yeah!
Yes! It's official! I mean, it's been official, but we finally have the confirmation they're girlfriends in the show!
In your face, Toxic Love Casa fans. Luna is actually said the G word through Sam Sharp.
Luna said Sam is her girlfriend. Said
Yeah,
girlfriend. They are girlfriends. It is canon. Take that, haters.
yeah, yeah. Great Loud Casa fans would say, we go, holy shit, holy shit.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I loved Omid's reaction to it. Did you see his reaction to it? So great.
I saw it live. I
Oh
saw it
man.
live.
Yeah, it was awesome. I'm so happy for him. I'm happy for the Luna fans. You got your
Yeah,
confirmation. Congratulations.
yeah, congrats.
But
Props to someone.
also, no, go ahead.
Props to somebody who wrote that script. Props to somebody who actually wrote that script that confirms Luna's bisexuality and her relationship with good old Sammy. Props to somebody who wrote that.
Yes, thank you, whoever wrote that to finally have Luna say Sam is her girlfriend. I guess they weren't ready to have her say that they're girlfriends, but now that Luna finally said Sam is my girlfriend, it's finally confirmed. We're all happy. We're
Yeah,
celebrating.
we've seen some moments with that since Ellis for Love, Perfect Gig, Racing Hearts, and even Band Together.
Hmm.
This shows how much of a strong bond that Luna and Sam has together.
Yeah, and they're still together. They're still girlfriends.
Yeah,
It's great. Unlike another ship. Oops.
Fortune.
uh,
Sorry, Letty fans, but
oh,
yeah,
Chaz Letty shippers, I'm so
sorry,
sorry.
Chesney.
While the
Sorry,
Sluta
Chesney.
fans are dancing around happy, the Chaz Letty fans are, oh.
You guys were screwed, Chesney fans.
Oh, man. I kind of feel bad because I like Chaz Letty. I like the idea
Yeah,
of it. And then, like, now the whole song with Letty thinking that she was wondering if Chaz liked her doesn't mean anything anymore because Letty moved on. So, yeah.
I think that I think that whole development between Chance and Lenny just got completely erased. Even
Yeah. I don't know what they could have done with it, but I think because Chaz was also Lori's friend, he probably moved to
yeah,
college,
may-
hence why she moved on, I guess.
maybe Chance is actually a college kid, so that's my opinion.
Yeah,
The reason
yeah.
it's probably that Lenny actually broke up with Chance because he's actually in college. That's my opinion.
I don't think they ever got together. I think that like Letty didn't know if he liked her or not, but maybe she
Yeah,
just maybe she didn't realize that he liked her, so nothing really happened.
It's like the whole LJX Francisco plot again. It's just
Oof.
that whole twist
Or
that
Rocky and
got erased.
Lucy. Oof.
Rocket Lucy, Sophie, and Lana.
Yeah, well, Letty's got a new crush now, but
All, all
uh
those ships just got erased. They just got
yeah.
completely.
I mean, besides Sam and Benny, all the Ellis for Love ships are basically erased. So, the ones that matter
So
aren't erased. The other ones that don't matter are gone.
I know. Yeah.
As long as they don't bring back Silas or Paige, I'm good. Don't bring back Paige.
Don't bring back Paige, people, because Lincoln has a great relationship with little Ronnie Ann right now. So
Yes.
stop it, guys.
Don't erase Rodney Kid. If you do, I'll riot Nickelodeon. I'm keeping my eye on you, Nickelodeon.
It'll be like people who actually got angry with Jamie's whole are getting erased in GOT. Oof.
Oof.
People got
Yeah.
angry with that.
Yeah, I mean, if Rodney Kid got erased, I think our whole fandom would probably riot. So I think Nickelodeon's like, no, we're not touching it. We're too scared to even try to touch it. No, don't you dare touch it. We will come for you.
It'll be like this. To quote with I'm Boston Tom on YouTube during his reactions on FBE, it'll be like this. This scene! Oh my god! Yeah. People would really read like Tom Feldman right there.
But anyway, let's get back to talking about the actual episode Undercover Mom.
Yeah, look, we're getting on
Yeah, we are. Yeah. So, Bert, overall, yeah. So, Bert, so Bert, overall thoughts on Undercover Mom. What did you think of the episode?
I'll be honest with you. This episode alone actually pays homage to the CBS reality TV show Undercover Boss, which is actually a show on CBS, in my opinion. I don't know if it's from CBS. So let's get back to it. Rita going undercover was one of the greatest ideas to do after he got it from a friend of hers in the Royal Woods Gazette. So she went into the RWHS as a new student under the name of Rita and tries to investigate about how teen life goes in Royal Woods High, specifically with her 3 daughters. And you know what happens then? Later that day, Rita didn't realize that things are gonna get a little bit too crazy in home. And even Lynn Sr. tries to play along, right?
Yes.
Lynn Sr. tried to play along in the fact that Lenny, Luna, and Luan didn't realize that it was their mother who they're inviting at their own home. That's just weird, right?
Yeah, that is kind of
right there,
weird.
Sonny?
They had to dumb them down for the episode to work, very pretty much.
Yeah. And it turns out, and there's even a revelation that Charles actually liked to sit on her lap. He's the only member of the lap. She's the only member of the family to which Charles would sit on her lap.
That was adorable.
That really blew her cover.
Yeah.
So, I want to say this. In the end, she instead wrote an article about how family bonding is important, and it became a sign of apology to the 3 of them. And they actually forgave their mother for what she did. So I want to say it was actually a good bonding together as a mother and daughter time during that moment in Royal Woods High. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because, like, I feel like this episode could have been done with Lori before she moved to college, but I liked this idea of Rita feeling like she's not connecting with her kids anymore because they're growing up. So I feel like it's kind of like... Oh, go ahead.
That's like how Lynn Sr. would do, but the ironic twist in that episode in school is that he didn't even cry for Lincoln when he was gonna go to Canada.
That's still my least favorite part of the episode. He's like, "Oh, everybody's leaving. We can go into Canada. Bye, son. Not gonna question this."
That's really dumb.
Yeah, I don't get that. I really don't. It's like he's all upset. Everybody's like growing up, and all of a sudden, like Lincoln tells his family, "Oh, I'm going to school in Canada. Bye, son. Have fun."
Come on.
But anyway, I really did like the concept of the episode where Rita felt like that she wasn't connecting with her kids, so she had to dress up to like pretend that she was another student. But Okay.
At least she gets a kiss from Lily with a little bit of saliva
Oh,
on it.
true. Yeah, and of
It's
course,
cute.
yeah, I agree. The ending was really sweet. Like the episode overall was fine, but I love the ending where she did write that article just stating that all she wanted to do was spend time with her kids. And I kind of wish they could have done this episode with Lori before she went to college, because it feels like an episode they could have done with Rita and Lori. They did an episode with her, Lynn Senior, when she worked at Lynn's table in season 4. But I like this episode where it's like, yeah, we gotta spend more time together, because if we spend time now, once we're gone, we won't have those moments anymore. So it's like a nice,
Yeah.
relatable episode about bonding with your kids. It reminded me of a Goofy movie, where you just feel like that your kids are growing up too fast and you want to spend more time with them. And again, especially because Lori's gone and Rita didn't get that time to spend with her, I think she's projecting that loss onto the 3 oldest, Loud family members that are left now. So it's cool to see her bond with the 3. I really liked it. I liked the concept of it.
Yeah. I want to say overall, personally, in my rating, I would have supposed to rate it as a 4.5. That matter, but instead, I'm just gonna write it down as a 4.
Oh, why's that?
Man, yeah, because of the how the plot runs through it. I know there's a little bit of a fiasco the behind relationships between Lenny. Yeah, that's it.
That's
I should,
that's fair. That's entirely
yes,
fair. I mean, I think it's decent. Like, I'm not really good at
yes.
ranking episodes. Like, when someone asks me, how you rank an episode, like, out of 5, I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's decent. I don't know if it's like a 3 or 4.5, but I think it was pretty decent. Like, really decent
Okay with that.
episode.
Yeah.
But yes, let's jump over to the Casagrandes.
So,
Yes, the Casagrandes. And we
ole,
get go ahead.
ole, let's do this. Mababasa head.
Olay! Yes, Casagrandes. We're all familiar. Yes. So we're going to talk about 2 episodes from the Casagrandes, new episodes. And the first episode we're going to talk about is, of course, the big hyped episode. The second episode featuring a very popular ship, Carlade. We finally got another Carlade shipping episode
Carlino and
again.
Adelaide, people.
Yes, so that's Karate Chops. Used to be top
Ooh.
dog, Carl can't handle when Adelaide joins his karate class and becomes the star student. So, Bert, how'd you feel about getting the next Carlade episode for this pairing?
First of all, I did not expect that Adelaide was such a great master in martial arts. I should say, being a martial arts prowess. I did not expect that from her, from the cute little sass bucket. But sure, Carl tries. Sure, Carl tried to get Adelaide out of karate school by trying to rig the entire boards, but that's just Carl being in character.
Mm-hmm.
I did also emphasize what Omid said on Twitter alone about this episode. To be honest, it really differs from any episodes focusing on a character's selfishness, unlike those with Clyde Clyde and Ronnie and last time in their own specific episodes, flying solo and teachers respectively, because it really focuses on the character's own selfishness. I gotta be honest with you for that. Again, back to this. I did not expect that Ellie was actually a martial arts prowess. And we didn't even expect to see Par as well. We all know Par, right?
Yes.
He's a guy who always loves the extreme. That's what I would say. I did not expect that Par would also be a martial arts prowess as well.
Oh yeah, me
That's all I
either.
gotta say.
Yeah, no, I
Also,
was. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
also, another plot twist as well. How in the world is Breakfast Bot alive since I
Oh,
breakfast?
I've got so many questions on that.
Seriously,
I am so
Dead?
confused.
How is Dad is still alive after getting thrown into the menudo and have his own delicious death? That's
Yeah,
just
like
weird.
the ending of I Breakfast Bot made it seem like that Dennis was still alive and would come back for revenge. But then this episode is just like, oh, I just rebuilt him. He's fine now. Like, really? Really?
We'll just throw his evil personality off the window and let's just
like that's all you had to do was just rebuild him and make him not evil. That's literally all you had to do. Like,
are they stupid?
Yeah, it's like, wait, so that means the whole episode of I Breakfast Bot meant nothing. All you had to do was just rebuild him and make him not evil.
Like, seriously, what have you done to Breakfast Bot, you idiots?
Well, I mean,
what have you done?
Like, Sid said, I don't know, Sid said he was a new model, but I believe she rebuilt him not to be evil anymore. But I'm so, like, I don't know whether it's Dennis or Breakfast Bot. Like, she referred to it as Breakfast Bot, like, so it's not Dennis. Mark II? Yeah, like, it's a new version, but she refers to it as Breakfast Bot, but in the episode he was called Dennis, so I don't know what to refer to him as anymore. What do we call him? Breakfast Bot or Dennis? I don't know. I don't even know if it's Dennis or not. I'm so confused. I think she said new model, but also she could have rebuilt him, so he's not evil anymore. I don't know. I'm so confused. Because in the episode, I Breakfast Bot, she did rebuild him, and then I think she made a new version in the episode, but then she also rebuilt this one. I don't know. I'm like making this more complicated than it should be.
It's like you just screw up the continuity alone about that.
Yeah, it's very confusing. I wish they could have. Like, Sid should have. Like, they should have. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Seriously, Casagrandes, what are you thinking?
Like that.
Seriously, what are you really thinking about Breakfast Bot's character?
Like, that should be placed in continuity. I'm gonna remember this for continuity tomorrow, just to remember the Breakfast Bot continuity. This needs to be questioned too. Everything needs to be questioned.
I should have wrote that in their Twitter questions. But
yeah,
sure.
Like I feel like Sid should have explained it better. Like, if she would have said, "Oh, we're gonna work on the new model that's not evil anymore," then it would be Dennis. But she said we have to work on the new Breakfast Bot. So it's like, is it a new model or is it Dennis? We have no idea. There's no good explanation for it.
Yes. To quote what Sid said, "It's okay. I can always rebuild. I'm more worried about you guys." Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, why not? Sure, okay. Alright,
Fine.
Episode didn't need to happen then. If you could just rebuild him. Alright. Good enough. And then it's like, oh, he's back. He's back? Why? I don't know. He's just back. Okay, thanks, I guess. But, what about the rest of the episode? The Carl Lane episode, besides that?
I'm gonna say, Carl being selfish alone is actually in character overall. But for Adelaide, I can see a good future for little Adelaide because, yeah, she can be a good martial arts prowess. She can get into competitions in the future. Let's just also the Par. I hope we can see more about Par's background as well, since we only know him as a produce guy. Now we actually know him as a martial arts sensei. That I'd be honest with you.
Okay, well, alright. And as for me, you know, I was very excited that this was the next Carl Lane episode, since we got Uptown Funk, which is a very perfect episode for the pairing, of course. And getting the next, you know, like, step in the Carl Lane relationship, you know, because we got it in Blunder Party too, is really cool, but I don't really... Yeah, and I don't really call this a Carl Lane episode per se, because the shipping aspect of it, like, Uptown Funk is perfect as a shipping episode. Like, they're in the entire episode, they're working together. You know, Carl's still selfish, but hey, it's focused on them more, like, hanging out and stuff. This episode was more of a Carl episode, feeling jealous of Adelaide, who is really just very good at karate right away. And
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
And I'd be honest, Carlino's selfish and swindling behavior is actually in character. It's not, like, really selfish.
No, absolutely. No, Carl that's definitely in character for him. Like we talked about, you know, with certain characters like, you know, Clyde or Roddy Ann, their selfishness is out of left field because they're not because they're not portrayed as selfish, and when they are, it feels weirdly out of character for them. Like, Ronnie Ann being selfish and Teacher's Fret was more of like, okay, well, they're trying to make her turn back into her season 1 version of herself, but in the worst way possible, and Clyde is like, I've seen him, like, you could see him being selfish, but like the way he went about it, also he broke his best friend's voice. That's really horrible. Like yeah.
You just ruining your friendship with your own best friend. That's
your best friend, and you're gonna break his voice just because you want the part. Which, by the way, Lincoln didn't even want in the first place, and you knew that. So I didn't get that. And then Ronnie and her selfishness was based on her reputation because, oh, my dad's dating my teacher, and I don't care if my dad's happy. All I care about is me. And I was happy that they broke up. Like, you didn't even care that your dad was happy. Like, please.
The fact that Arturo is divorced. The fact that Arturo and Maria are divorced.
Yes.
You're trying to ruin your papa's relationship with
the best relationship
teacher?
He's had since your mom and dad broke up, and she was happy in the beginning, but all because it's her teacher, she's upset, and then she's selfish and doesn't care about her dad's happiness, and then once she thinks that they broke up, she's like, oh, I'm sorry, but all they did was like, oh, I'm sad because my soccer team lost. Like, no, I mean, I'm sorry, whoops. Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. That episode is still my least favorite episode of the entire show. It's just when you butcher my favorite character like that, you just
watch little Ronita.
Yeah, but back to Carl. Like, Carl, you understand that he is a selfish character because there's been so many episodes where he has a scheme.
How to swindle.
Right, like in Monster Cash,
at the age of 9.
Right, the zoo episode, the kid plays the pitcher, all Carl, like any episode where Carl is being a schemer, like that's in character for him. He's super selfish. Like, for example, like right, like Lincoln, for example, like some people have told me like, how come you think Ronnie Ann being selfish is bad, but what about Lincoln? Lincoln's always been selfish. Like season 1, Lincoln, super selfish. Season 5, Lincoln, like season cheating, super selfish kid. That's in character for Lincoln because I've seen him be that way. Whereas
that's the Lincoln formula for you.
Right? Yeah, because like
Omi said, it's the Lincoln formula.
Yeah, the Lincoln Loud formula. Omid. I still hate that. Anyway, but yeah. But again, Carl being selfish, totally understandable, and you get why he's upset because Adelaide just pops out of nowhere, is like, hey, I'm gonna join the class because I'm actually really good, which kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I feel like the setup of this episode was way too fast. Like, I kind of wish that Carl was already in the class, but I would have liked it where maybe Carl was coming back from karate class and Adelaide wanted to come, like, play with him or asked him to play with him, and he's like, oh no, Adelaide, I have to practice karate. And that's when she's like, karate. And that's when she joins. She just joins automatically really fast in the beginning. It's like, what, where, what, why? And now she's suddenly good at it. Like, it seemed like it went way too quickly. And also, like again, like Carl tried to find this way to, sabotage Adelaide, which worked. It worked. He sabotaged her. But then he had to humiliate himself in front of the entire class. Because if he didn't do this, this move, then Par's dojo would close down, which would be bad. And also, like, he stole Breakfast Bot's arms, but like the funniest, but like the most underwhelming part of this episode was Sid, where like he stole Breakfast Bot's arms, but Sid wasn't even mad about it. Like,
she just nonchalantly took Breakfast Bot's arm. That's just funny.
She's just like, okay, hi Carl, bye Carl. Like, what was the point of that? And she's not even going to react to it. Just like, oh, you stole his arms. Oh, that's fine. Bye. Like, they didn't need to shoehorn Ronnie in. Like, I love seeing my girl Ronnie in, but he didn't need to shoehorn her and Sid into the episode for no reason, not to do anything. Like, the fact that Carl was sabotaging it, like, Sid's little sister, and Sid, like, did nothing in this episode other than just be like, oh, hey, I'm still a relevant character in the show. Like, I don't know, like, I felt like maybe Ronnie and Sid didn't need it, especially because Ronnie Ann, all she did in the episode was like, oh, hey, Carl, are you doing a thing? I don't want to know about the thing. Like, did you really need to be here, Ronnie? I don't know. It was such a waste of her character. Like, I just felt like they just put it in to remind us, oh yeah, Sidani's still a thing. We get it. We know they're the best friend duo. We see them all the time. You don't need to shoehorn them into every episode. We get it. Like, but it's just, I just wish Sid played a bigger role than what she did in the episode, you know?
Yeah. And at least Carl got his own karma.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't need to complain so much about it, but I feel like this episode could have been a lot more than it was. Like, I was excited for another Carl late episode, and I love that in the end, Adelaide didn't give any shit to Carl. Like, Carl was apologizing, and she was like, so, you're saying I'm better than you? Yes. Well, yeah, obviously. Like, Adelaide gives no shits. I love it. Like, Adelaide's the best. Like, the fact that when she just doesn't give a shit about what Carl does, it's absolutely wonderful. Like Adelaide's probably one of the best characters in the show, next to Carl and Sid and Ronnie and then vice versa. But, you know, like, it's not better than Uptown Funk. I still think Uptown Funk's a better episode, but it was still nice to get an episode with these two, you know? Always nice to see them together.
I agree with that.
But, let me see. Any other final thoughts on Karate Chops?
Well, no. Well, like I said earlier, I hope we got a good future with Adelaide, and I hope we get to see more with Par, with his character alone.
Yeah, like, I do like that Par is supposed to be Bobby's best friend, and we see Par sometimes, like, with Bobby, but it's cool that
being the produce guy.
Yeah, it's cool that
produce guy, but he was also like a freaking daredevil.
Yeah, so it's cool that he owns his own dojo now, since he's supposed to be into really intense and extreme stuff. So it's cool that he has like kind of a interest outside of just being Bobby's best friend. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do want to see again more Carl and Adelaide episodes. Of course, they've realized this pairing is very popular. That's why they made a second I say second episode because like they were in Blender Party but wasn't about them, so I say second episode focusing on them. But I really want to see like a sequel to Uptown Funk where it's about Carl and Adelaide and not just a Carl focused episode like this one was. It wasn't really a shipping episode for the two.
I agree.
Alright, so let's move on to the final episode of the Casagrandes, which is Taco the Town! Tacos! I'm so hungry for tacos.
Anyone would buy one.
So Hector starts selling Rosa's delicious tacos, but gets overwhelmed when they're more popular than the Mercado. So, Bert, what'd you think about Taco the Town, the Hector and Rosa episode?
I think it was actually an interesting episode because we didn't see much more focused episodes between Ronnie and Abuelo and Abuela. Personally, we didn't even have a actual focused episode between Hector and Rosa generally, aside from that other episode which one of us would be peeved about it.
Which one is that?
I think that was Grandparent Trap.
Oh! That was the missed opportunity episode before Teacher's Fright became the missed opportunity episode. Now I actually appreciate Grandparent Trap for what it tried to do compared to Teacher's Fright. I think I'm giving that episode the benefit of the doubt. You know, it was bad at the time. It wasn't bad, but it was mediocre at the time. But I actually kind of praise it now for what it did. But go ahead, sorry.
I understand that, Sonny. So again, what happens if you have one thing to do, and that is if your role are reversed? This is what happened actually when Abuelo becomes the housewife and Rosa works in the mercado. So yeah, Hector actually lost his passion in being in the mercado alone because you see how the entire apartment transformed alone, right?
Right, yeah.
How the entire apartment transformed when Rosa started selling her own homemade tacos because everyone liked it, right?
Right, exactly.
and it turns and the fact that Rosa makes more money than Hector working in the mercado without a doubt. And Abuelo felt really upset that he actually missed being in the mercado. That's what I'd be honest with you, right?
Right, yes.
Yeah, go ahead. So what?
Okay.
So
I
what's
think.
your opinion about?
Okay.
So what's your
Well,
opinion about it?
I think this episode is a very interesting character study episode. Like, I felt it came out like this episode comes out of nowhere, and like the concept of it. Like, I was thinking this episode would be kind of like a generic, just cut like one of those generic Casagrande forgettable episodes. Like, to me, some of them are like Fast Feud, or again like Grandparent Trap is one of them too. Like what, like, or even Who's Shopping for Dinner. Like the underrated episodes that don't really like have significance to a character study or development, but they really took a swing at the idea of what if Hector and Rosa switched places for the day,
Which
and
roles?
right, and Rosa was taking over the Mercado and Hector became Rosa. Like, I liked that idea very much. Like, it was a very interesting
Yeah,
idea that
and I
Hector. Oh, go ahead.
I I even laugh at the part that Abuelo tries to hit Carl with the chancla, which actually fails.
Your turn to Abuela. Your turn to Abuela. Yeah.
And try to hit the chancla.
I loved him even having the Rosa, like, the bun, and even looking like Rosa, too. Like, it just really, really well done. Like, yeah, I liked the concept of it. I'm surprised they haven't
Yeah,
done. I'm very surprised they haven't done this yet. Like, I
yeah,
thought they would have done this before, but the idea of like Rosa becoming popular with the Mercado and turning it into like, you know, like a hip food stand, like instead of a
yeah.
store, now it's like with food and stuff, and Hector taking over as the surrogate, you know, like grandmother or
Yeah, the
abuela
housewife.
to the housewife, yeah, and having to help, you know, CJ with his project and stuff like that, and you know,
Yeah,
I felt like
I want to say
okay.
this. Poor CJ, he actually failed in that cake.
Yeah, I think he says that something like "It's no bueno" or something like that. Like he was very upset about it. But you
Yeah,
know, I felt like this episode, like the idea of Hector taking over for Rosa, I feel like it should have been in a different episode than this one. Like it takes a while for the setup of Hector becoming Rosa, then Rosa becoming Hector, and like the end is so abrupt. It kind of ends abruptly, like it weirdly
everyone's
ends.
fighting over the last taco. And
Yeah, it's so weird. It's a weird ending. Like I feel like it was such a
like,
cop out ending. Like they didn't know how to end the episode, so it was like they're all fighting over tacos. Okay,
yeah,
that's how you end the
for me,
episode.
for me, what I only like about it is the fight cloud.
Yeah, yeah. And
I like fight clouds.
I know I talked about how I don't like Radia being shoehorned in the episodes, and again, they did this to my girl again, where basically all she served in the episode was just to tell Hector the moral. Like, she's like, hey, why don't you just tell Rosa how you feel? How about taking your own advice, Roddy? Like,
That's just weird.
like, yeah, it was so weird. Like Hector could have figured that out on his own, but like, I liked that Radia was there to comfort him, but it was just so weird that she was just like, hey, just tell Rosa how you feel. Sure, Radia, that always works. Yeah, totally tell him how you feel. Like, why don't you just take your own advice? Maybe you should have thought about that when you did that in Teacher's Fret, or under Mess, the episode where you should have told your friends how you felt. Maybe she's learned since then. Maybe she's learned since then. I'll give her credit. If she realized, hey, maybe after Under Mess and Teacher's Fret, I should have just told the truth of how I felt. Maybe she's learned since then. Good job on you, Ronnie. And like, again, like, I was really happy to see her in these episodes, but not happy that they just shoehorned her into episodes just to be like, hey, I'm still here, remember me? I'm the main character. Yes, we know, Ronnie, and you don't need to be in every single episode, sweetie.
Uh,
uh, but,
I did have some. I did have some interesting tidbit.
okay, go ahead.
Remember, you remember those hipster couple from Friended with the Casagrandes?
I do,
They actually,
yes. They
they
were in this
actually appeared
episode.
they actually appeared in this episode as well.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah,
It's been a
I'm
while since
surprised.
we saw them. Those hipster couple.
Yeah, I guess they needed more background characters. So like, oh hey, we remember these hipster characters. Let's just put them in the background, sure.
And
Like,
and there's also Jim Sparkle too from Fast Food.
yeah, that episode. I don't get why people are voting for Fast Food in the poll. Stop voting for Fast Food. It's not that good of an episode.
Come on, I'm not interested in Fast Food, guys.
Yeah, like, I don't get why, I guess, because it's, I mean, if it's like, oh, because it's a Sonati episode, that doesn't mean it's a good episode, guys. That doesn't mean it's a good episode. It's not. It's a forgettable episode. Nobody remembers it. I remember it because I have to keep up with the show. So I was happy to at least see Jim Sparkle again, because they remember him, because continuity. Good job, Casagrandes. Don't screw it up like Teacher's Fret, but good job. But I just
and
don't.
The fact that Ryan just pops out on screen.
Oh yeah, that was funny though, because she was trying to teach Rosa what like because her friend said like, oh, your tacos are legit 100s. So like Rosa says something like, she's like, they are legit 1,000, and Ryan pops up like 100. Like, that was cute. That was cute. I can't complain about Ryan. I mean, I already did, but like, she's my girl. Like, I mean, you know, I can play with Lincoln Shoehorn to an episode sometimes, but when I see her when I see her do something cute, you know, I have to like be like, yes, that's my girl. I love her. But back to the main point. Yeah, I really liked the concept of this episode. Just Hector taking over as Rosa was very interesting. I really wish they could have done this like earlier in the series. I'm surprised they took them this long to do something like this. And, you know, again, we haven't really had an episode about Rosa and Hector as a relationship. Like, we've had Rosa episodes, we've had Hector episodes, we've had them in episodes, or even Grandparent Trap. I mean, Grandparent Trap is the closest we've had about their relationship, but it was mostly focused on Roddy and thinking they would break up. Whereas here, it was about their relationship and how they need each other, but they also fit into their roles. Like, you don't want Rosa working in the Mercado so much she misses cooking for her family and taking care of her family, and Hector loves the Mercado and working there, but also does love the family, but also doesn't want Rosa to work herself to death. So I liked it. He was like, I'll do anything. I'll pay for a vacation. I'll take you to the spa. Anything. Like, it was so sweet. I love Rosa and Hector as a pairing. They're adorable. I want more episodes about them as a relationship. Absolutely. So yeah, I think this episode was very good, actually.
I agree. For me, it has actually a moral lesson alone that love is more bigger than money itself. There's nothing more stronger than love. That's what I want to say, alright?
Yeah, like at that scene where Hector was like crying into the money, and Roddy is like, are you crying into money? But Hector's like, I liked it better when we had no money. Yeah, I liked that. I liked that even though the Mercado was making loads of money from Rosa and her tacos, Hector started to realize that money didn't matter. All that mattered was familia. Like, that's all he missed was the family. And I liked that part of the episode. Like, again, this episode could have been just a generic episode about, you know, them like making tacos at the Mercado, but they actually put a very emotional core to the episode that I wasn't expecting, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But
I agree with that.
Is there any other final thoughts on this episode for you?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
It's been great.
So yeah, all 4 of these episodes from both shows were all really, really solid episodes, would you say?
I'm gonna say so far, the recent episodes that were aired on Nickelodeon this last March was good so far. That's what I want to say.
Alright, yeah, I definitely, like, I really agree. I think they were all very solid episodes. And it was great to get both shows back. But yes, of course, we are on a hiatus for the entire month of April, unless something changes at the last minute. But I think we won't get the shows back until the month of May, because of the anniversary of the Loud House, and so we won't be back till then. But Bert, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for coming on my show and talking about these episodes again. So thank you so much for coming on.
I want to say it's been an honor to be a guest of your podcast, since it's been my first, so it's been an honor. And I hope this podcast would be more on the Loud House and the Casagrandes all the time.
Oh, well, of course.
So it's been a great
That's
time.
all I talk about in my life
You're a
is
great
Loud House and
friend,
Casagrandes. Nothing's changing about that. I mean, this show's been here since now it's gonna be this year. It's gonna be 2 years old. I'm doing this show, which is crazy, very crazy. So yeah, I ain't stopping. I ain't stopping until the show stops. But I'm gonna be here for a while. So no, I'm gonna keep going. But again, thank you so much for being a first-time guest, and I hope to have you on again another time.
Yes, yeah,
But
yeah. Would be honored to
okay.
be another guest in another one. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I will definitely keep you in mind for next time. But so before we go, Bert, is there any social media you'd like to plug on my show?
Yes. Hey, you guys can actually support me on Patreon at www.patreon.com/RealGilbertGan. I've been doing a lot of art and I often post some reviews of all the Loud House episodes in there. You can also find my works on Ko-fi, which is at ko-fi.com/RealGilbertGan. But I also do a lot of artworks on the. You can always see me helping out there on DeviantArt or any other social media. Instagram, all all my social media handles: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, DeviantArt, Patreon, and Ko-fi. You can always find me there as at RealGilbertGan. So again, thank you so much for having me here, Sunny. I can be here on another episode of the Castle Loud chat.
All right, and thank you, Bert. I'll make sure to link all of those in the description. And again, thank you so much for coming on. And as for me, if you have any questions about the podcast or want to discuss the podcast with me, you can contact me over at XClipse on Twitter or the podcast's Twitter, Castle Loud Chats. And again, we don't know when we'll see you next time because we don't know when the shows are going to be back, but we're assuming May, as I am going to be having the next episode of this show is going to be the 50th episode of Castle Loud Chats, which is crazy. And it's going to be around the same time as the fifth anniversary of the Loud House. So, woo! Yes, yeah. So I'm gonna try to do something big for the 50th episode of my show and the 5-year anniversary. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. So, but because I'm busy with school this month and I'll be graduating next month, I'm going to be very busy with school stuff, so I'm going to put my show on hiatus until both the Loud House and the Casagrandes come back with new episodes. So whatever that is, we'll see you next time on Casa Loud Chats.